Lesson 2, move the player. Step 1, create the move player script. So the objective is to create a new script called move player, and the note is that the name is player. So I need to know that the new script is going to be attached to the player. First I need to find the player. Then when I select the inspector updates, I need to select to add the component and create a new script called move player. Add that, and that's the end of that step. Okay, so next we're going to translate the player to the right. Objective, translate the player to the right. The first thing we will do is translate our player's ship to the right. In order to achieve this, we must understand how to use the transform component. You'll notice that every game object has a transform component. This component holds the position, rotation, and scale of the game object. It also has a translate method that makes it easy to shift the position in any direction. Let's try to translate the player to the right. Wow, that's going really fast. Okay, so we have a hint here that says search online for Unity Transform Translate, and the Unity docs are at this link. So it says to enter the code that will accomplish the objective. Just try to type something. If you make a mistake, I'll help you. So what should you type here? Okay, so this is kind of how that works. Also, if I click on this, it will open up a browser window for me and takes me directly to that link where I can read about the transform translate method. Okay, so I want to translate the player to the right. This last line, let's try to translate the player to the right. Okay, let's see. Well, I need to use the transform. Okay, and I need to use the translate method of the transform. Now I need to transform it to the right. And so if I remember that I need to use the vector3 class, which has the directions. Take it to the right. And it doesn't say to do anything else. So I can go ahead and close my statement. Now let's preview what that looks like. Okay, there it is. Let me reset that again. So when we translate it to the right, it's just flying right off the screen. So that's that step, and we will be adding more to the steps in later steps to make it correct. Okay, so let's go to the next task. Correct the mistake. Now we will practice correcting mistakes in the code. I messed up the code and you have to fix it. Look for a mistake in the code and choose it. So I need to find anything in here that is not correct. Well, that's not right. That needs to be transform. And this over here is supposed to be right. Okay. Now I need to understand the code. Now we will examine the explanations. I will describe part of the code and you will have to find it. Select a word in the code that will fit into a blank line. Click or tap on the word in the code. So the blank holds the values for a game object's position, rotation, and scale. Well, that's the transform. Okay, so that's correct. Now let's try a different explanation. A simple way to move a game object is by calling the blank method of the blank. Okay, so a simple way to move a game object is by calling the translate method of the transform. Okay, the blank class contains values for the 6 primary directions, which are blank and left, up and down, and forward and back. Okay, so that bottom one is obvious, right and left. So I'll click on right. And the blank class contains values for the 6 primary directions. Okay, that's talking about the vector3 class. Okay, in order to move our object, we can call the blank method of the blank component and make it go to the blank. Alright. Okay, so we can call the translate method of the transform component and make it go to the right. Okay, very good. Okay, looks like we're done. Now we're on the step 3.